Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the University of Southern Mississippi's Fall 2021 Graduate Commencement Ceremony. I'm Rodney Bennett, President of the University of Southern Mississippi. Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by our Army ROTC Color Guard and for the performance of our national anthem, led this evening by Ms. Anne Marie McPhail.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Everybody, just want to make sure y'all can hear us. Okay, you may be seated. Commencements at the University of Southern Mississippi are wonderful occasions as we acknowledge the achievements of our students and recognize the contributions that family, friends, and the USM faculty and staff have made to their education. For those of you who were able to join us in person, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are viewing the ceremony online, thank you for being a part of this very special occasion for our graduates. I would like to extend special thanks to each individual who has supported our graduates for entrusting the education of your loved ones to the University of Southern Mississippi. It has indeed been our privilege to have assisted them in getting to this very important day. I would now like to take a moment to thank our faculty and staff for their hard work to support the success of our students. And so I'll pause here so that our graduating class might express their deep appreciation for the contributions of our faculty and staff have made to their education with a round of applause. Thank you. Military service to our country is among the highest forms of patriotism and selflessness. I now invite all graduating students and guests who are veterans, active military or reservists, or newly commissioned officers to please stand if you are able to do so. On behalf of the University of Southern Mississippi, we thank each of you for your service, past, present, and future. You may be seated. I would now like to introduce members of the platform party who will not be presented later in the ceremony. I'd like to ask each person to stand and to remain standing, and if the audience would please hold your applause until each individual has been recognized. I'll begin here to my right with Ms. Margot Buisson, who is providing sign interpretation for the ceremony. Now, Margot and I have worked together for the last 9 years, 5 or 6 or 7 ceremonies each year. And of course, this is the first ceremony that we've had since May. So I want to make sure that Margot has not gotten rusty with her sign interpretation. So if you'll allow me, we're going to give Margot just a quick little test to make sure that she's still as sharp as I know her to be after 9 years. Margot, you ready? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. A plus. A plus. Thank you, Margot. Now, Margot is used to my doing that, so don't anybody send me any emails or letters, okay? She knows I do this at commencement. Also joining us on stage is our commencement Grand Marshal, Dr. Alan Schiller. Dr. Alan Schiller will be retiring from the university at the end of this academic year after 34 years of service in marine sciences down at Stennis Space Center. Dr. Schiller, we thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your service to the university. Mr. Lucas Williams, who is president of the Student Government Association, Ms. Luann Knight Crenshaw, president of the Graduate Student Senate, and Dr. Catherine Anthony, our ceremonial reader. Please help me in thanking each of these individuals for being with us this evening. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to invite to the podium Mr. Jerry DeFada, the Executive Director of the Southern Miss Alumni Association. Jerry?
Good evening, graduating students. On behalf of the Southern Miss Alumni Association, congratulations to our returning alumni who have now earned a second or third Southern Miss degree. We are so glad that you chose to continue your education here at your university. And congratulations to our newest alumni. Thank you for choosing Southern Miss as your graduate institution of choice. As graduates of the University of Southern Mississippi, you are all part of an ever-growing group of more than 130,000 proud Southern Miss alumni scattered throughout the world. Because of your status as alumni, you have a golden opportunity to be a part of our Alumni Association. At your convenience, please scan the QR code on the small bottle of hand sanitizer that was left in your seat. This will give you access to a wide variety of ways you can connect with Southern Miss as you enter your next phase of life. I encourage you to join, get engaged, and become or continue to be an active member. Let us know about the important things that are going on in your life, and we'll let you know what's going on here at your university. The university community is your family, and each of you can make a difference in the future of Southern Miss. I would also like to take a moment to recognize our legacy families, which include graduating students with at least one parent who's a Southern Miss graduate. If our alumni parents and their graduating students will please stand so you may be recognized. We are delighted to see so many alumni parents among the crowd, and we're even more grateful that your student chose to continue the Southern Miss legacy. Thank you all for being here. Again, congratulations to each of you as graduates of the University of Southern Mississippi, and as always, Southern Miss, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Let me take a moment, graduates, and share with you what I'd like to ask you to do as you come across the stage here in just a second. I recognize that many of you are fully vaccinated, and many of you have also received your booster. But if you would still exercise some caution as you come across the stage for tonight's ceremony, I'd be most appreciative for that. I'd also ask you to consider using the hand sanitizer provided at your seat before and after you walk across the stage. You may choose to remove your face covering while you come across the stage, especially for photographs. Also, please know when you greet me here on the stage that I have been vaccinated and received the booster, so we should be good from that perspective. I don't intend to spread any disease to anybody tonight, so we're going to be good. In lieu of a handshake, however, I'm excited to share that I will be presenting each of you with a special keepsake gift. It is a commemorative letter opener that you can now see on the screens here in the Coliseum. The letter opener has the University of Southern Mississippi embossed on the handle, and it is my hope that each of you will keep this as a memento of all the possibilities that are now open to you as a graduate of the University of Southern Mississippi. At this time, I will ask our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Stephen R. Mosier, to come forward for the conferral of degrees.
Good evening. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Education degree please stand? President Bennett, these candidates have been approved for graduation by their dean and faculty, and I recommend that you confer upon them the degree Doctor of Education.
Provost Mosier, on your recommendation and with the approval of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the University of Southern Mississippi, I confer upon these candidates the degree Doctor of Education, with all of the rights and privileges thereto appertaining.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Musical Arts degree please stand? President Bennett, these candidates have been approved for graduation by their dean and faculty. I recommend that you confer upon them the degree Doctor of Musical Arts.
Provost Mosier, on your recommendation, with the approval of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the University of Southern Mississippi, I confer upon these candidates the degree Doctor of Musical Arts, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Nursing Practice degree please stand? President Bennett, these candidates have been approved for graduation by their dean and faculty. I recommend that you confer upon them the degree Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Provost Mosier, on your recommendation, and with the approval of the faculty and by the virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the University of Southern Mississippi, I confer upon these candidates the degree Doctor of Nursing Practice, with all of the rights and privileges thereto appertaining.
Please be seated. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree please stand? President Bennett, these candidates have been approved for graduation by their dean and faculty. I recommend that you confer upon them the degree Doctor of Philosophy.
Provost Mosier, on your recommendation, with the approval of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as president of the University of Southern Mississippi, I confer upon these candidates the degree Doctor of Philosophy, with all of the rights and privileges thereto appertaining.
Will all the doctoral candidates and their major professors please come forward for the hooding and the awarding of diplomas? Dr. Karen Coates, Associate Provost and Dean of the Graduate School, will present each candidate.
Kathleen Helen Canavan, hooded by Dr. Neil Cochran. Doctoral project title is Phonics Lacking in Schools Today: Effective Strategies for Closing Reading Gaps in Elementary Students with Reading Difficulties. Candace Dollar, hooded by Dr. Noel Cochran. Doctoral project title, Classroom Technology, Are Teachers Using It? Jennifer Butler Toth, hooded by Dr. Noel Cochran. Doctoral project title, Testing on the Move, What Should High School Graduation Requirements Include? Kim Leslie Daniels, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, The Effectiveness of iReady Reading as a Reading Intervention Program on the Passing Rate of the Third Grade ELA MAP Assessment at Eva Garden Lower Elementary School. Jacob Zachary Dykes, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Program Evaluation at the Algebra 1 program at Ocean Springs High School. Laurie Ann Foss, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Teachers' Attitudes Toward Differentiated Instruction, Implications for Administrators. Thomas Foy Giles, Jr., hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Alternatives to Alternative Education, a comprehensive study of behavioral alternative schools in Mississippi. Laminda Lynn Hayes, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Program Evaluation, Evaluating the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program in a Public High School in Mississippi. Leandra Monique Lowry, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, The Effectiveness of Alternative Education in Canton, Mississippi. Jerica Mabry, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Principles Knowledge of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and their implementation of special education services to ensure students with disabilities receive a free and appropriate public education. Amanda Unique Miller, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Effectively Using Technology in Elementary Classrooms. Richard Joseph Pardo, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Native Speaking Language Immersion Teachers and Their Level of Job Satisfaction. Mary Danielle Traylor, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Will Project-Based Learning Benefit the Health Science CTE Classroom? Susan Elmer Treelor, hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Title IX in the Secondary School Setting. Where Are We Now? You have one more. Ernest E. Woodall, Jr., hooded by Dr. Lillian Hill. Doctoral project title, Teachers' Perceptions of Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports in the Classroom, a Qualitative Study. Dariana Lee, hooded by Dr. Holly Foster. Doctoral project title, Improving Career Readiness in High School Career and Technical Education Programs. Tanya Pankey Neely, hooded by Dr. Holly Foster. Dissertation title, The Perceived Absence of African American Women in Leadership Positions in Public Four-Year Predominantly White Institutions of Higher Education in Mississippi. Erin Sessions, hooded by Dr. Holly Foster. Doctoral project title, The Nest, an online resource for developmental advising practices. Benjamin Allen Weldon, hooded by Dr. Holly Foster. Doctoral project title, K-12 STEM Program Roles in STEM Major Selection. Christina Michelle Collins, hooded by Dr. Jason Wallace. Doctoral project title, Examining the Effectiveness of Student Support Services with First-Generation College Students. Shanika Vante Kendrick, hooded by Dr. Jason Wallace. Doctoral project title, What Influences the Decision of African American Women to Attend Graduate School? Tracy Paul, hooded by Dr. Jason Wallace. Doctoral project title, Examining Job Satisfaction Factors, Retention, and Burnout Prevention Strategies Among Hall Directors in Mississippi. Stephen W. Dixon, hooded by Dr. Kimberly Davis. Dissertation title, Performer's Guide to 3 Miniatures for Tuba and Piano by Anthony Plog. Andrew Dean Gilstrap, Jr., hooded by Dr. Danilo Mizadri. Dissertation title, Put the Pedal to the Metal, Exploring the Resources of the Modern Electric Vibraphone. James Arnold Jenkins, hooded by Dr. Timothy Tesh. Doctoral project title, An Application of Natural Learning Processes in the Preparation of Edward Gregson's Trumpet Concerto. Emily Caroline Brister, hooded by Dr. LaWanda Baskin. Doctoral project title, A Safety Net, Early Assessment of Multiple Social Determinants of Health Risk Factors in the Pediatric Inpatient Population. Susan Mullen Schemper, hooded by Dr. LaWanda Baskin. doctoral project title, Evidence-Based Update in Practice Development of a Nursing Checklist for Documentation of Pediatric Preoperative Fall Safety Measures. Cantrell Ollie Anderson, hooded by Dr. Carolyn Coleman, doctoral project title, Measuring the Development of Depression in a Long-Term Care Facility. Donna K. Pittman, hooded by Dr. Carolyn Coleman, doctoral project title, Depression Screening in Primary Care, Implications for Practice. Heather Matthews Thompson, hooded by Dr. Carolyn Coleman, doctoral project title, Implementation of an Akathisia Scale into the Mental Health Assessment to Screen for Early Onset Akathisia. Amber Elisa Vetter, hooded by Dr. Lisa Morgan, doctoral project title, Implementation and Evaluation of a Registered Nurse Pre-Eclampsia Education Program within a Women's Urgent Care Center. Kristen Berry, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Airway Assessment and Bag Mask Ventilation, an Objective Structured Clinical Examination. Allie Loper Brantley, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Airway Assessment and Bag Mask Ventilation, an Objective Structured Clinical Examination. Tyler Gilbert Comans, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Barriers to Preoperative Warming, Best Practice Guideline. Zachary James Hayes, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Barriers to Preoperative Warming, Best Practice Guideline. Caleb Leach, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Barriers to Preoperative Warming, Best Practice Guideline. Kristen Miller, hooded by Dr. Mary Jane Collins, doctoral project title, Clinical Preparedness for Local Anesthetic Systemic Toxicity, an Objective Structured Clinical Examination. Hunter Brown, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Implementation of a Pre-Anesthesia Take-Home Evaluation PATH as a Means of Process Improvement, a Best Practice Recommendation. Blake Austin Cochran, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Daily Anesthesia Apparatus Checkout, Objective Structured Clinical Exam, OSCE, for first-year nurse anesthesia program students. Is that Mary? That's not Dr. McLean. Elizabeth Page Davis, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Best Practice Recommendation on Anesthesia Involvement in Preoperative Interdisciplinary Rounding on Surgical Inpatients. Trey Galloway, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Implementation of a Pre-Anesthesia Take-Home Evaluation PATH as a Means of Process Improvement, a Best Practice Recommendation. Russell Wayne Gray, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Implementation of a Pre-Anesthesia Take-Home Evaluation PATH as a Means of Process Improvement, a Best Practice Recommendation. Lauren Frances Hensley, hooded by Dr. Nina McLean, doctoral project title, Daily Anesthesia Apparatus Checkout, Objective Structured Clinical Exam, OSCE, for first-year nurse anesthesia program students. Clint Thomas Seal, hooded by Dr. Stephanie Parks, doctoral project title, Active Shooter in the education setting. Jason Wells, hooded by Dr. Stephanie Parks, doctoral project title, Active Shooter in the Education Setting. Christopher Lamar Bond, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project title, Objective Structured Clinical Evaluation for Supraclavicular and Femoral Nerve Blocks, utilizing ultrasound guidance for student nurse anesthetists. Amy Wang, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project title, Utilizing Ultrasound-Guided Technology for Epidural Placement in Obese Laboring Patients. Ashley Taylor Johnson, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project title, Best Practice Guideline, Color-Coded Syringe Labeling of Anesthesia Induction Drugs. Diamond L. Moore, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project title, Utilizing Ultrasound-Guided Technology for Epidural Placement in Obese Laboring Patients. Lauren Elizabeth Pilgrim, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project title, Best Practice Guideline, Color-Coded Syringe Labeling of Anesthesia Induction Drugs. Mitchell C. Fowler, hooded by Dr. Michong Rayburn, doctoral project titled, Objective Structured Clinical Evaluation for Supraclavicular and Femoral Nerve Blocks, utilizing ultrasound guidance for student nurse anesthetists. Tori T. Fowler, hooded by Dr. Catherine Anthony, dissertation title, COVID-19 and University Stakeholders, A Faculty Perspective. Taylor Shutt Kernan, hooded by Dr. Christopher Campbell, dissertation title, Reframing Gender, an Analysis of Journalism's Social Media Characterization of Female Presidential Candidates during the 2020 presidential election. Jessica Frenchet Love, hooded by Dr. Cheryl Jenkins, dissertation title, Ain't I a Woman? The Intersectional Representation of Black Women, Professional Leaders, Above the Concrete Ceiling in Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. Congratulations. James P. Call, hooded by Dr. Dave Davies, dissertation title, Communication Crisis on Campus, the Public Relations Strategies, Tactics, and Results of Mississippi's Leading Universities in Response to the State Flag Debate 2015 to 2020. David M. Keith, hooded by Dr. Dave Davies, dissertation title, Walking into a News Desert, How Arkansas College Newspapers Are Coping with the Decline in Print Journalism. Brenda Collins, hooded by Dr. Deborah Copeland, dissertation title, Mobbing and Job Satisfaction Among Registered Nurses in Mississippi. May Antoinette Farrer Watson, hooded by Dr. Deborah Copeland, dissertation title, Psychological Distress During the COVID-19 Pandemic in Nursing Students, a Mixed Methods Study. Biswaz Nupani, hooded by Dr. Fingwei Bai, dissertation title, Interleukin 17A facilitates chikungunya virus infection by inhibiting interferon alpha-2 expression. Corey Nadine Armstrong, hooded by Dr. David Cochran, dissertation title, Sustainable Development Among Four-Year Higher Education Institutions in the United States, a Geographic and Anthropological Perspective. Bibek GC, hooded by Dr. Mohammed Alastri. Dissertation title, The Role of the MSA ABCR Operon in Cell Wall Integrity and Programmed Cell Death During Biofilm Development. Mohammed Farid Zia, hooded by Dr. Alex Flint. Dissertation title, Human 5'-tailed mertrons are processed by RNase-P. Shandan Gurung, hooded by Dr. Yanlin Guo. Dissertation title, Dicer represses antiviral innate immunity pathways in mouse embryonic stem cells. Luke Scott Pearson, hooded by Dr. Carl Qualls. Dissertation title, Distribution, Abundance, and Population Genetics of the Alligator Snapping Turtle, Macrocheles temenckii in Mississippi. Samantha J. Zambo, hooded by Dr. Arlene Perkins. Dissertation title, Ensemble Data Fitting for Bathymetric Models Informed by Nominal Data. Sharun Goodla, hooded by Dr. Andrew Sung. Dissertation title, Discrete Moving Target Defense Application and Benchmarking in Software-Defined Networking. MD Shohel Rana, hooded by Dr. Andrew Sung. Dissertation title, Analyzing and Detecting Android Malware and Deepfake. Matthew Wade Allen, hooded by Dr. Joshua Hill. Dissertation title, Obstacles to the Implementation of Criminal Justice Reform. Leo Xiao Fan Lin, hooded by Dr. Joseph St. Marie. Dissertation title, International Events, Domestic Change, and the Development of China's Grand Strategy, 1839 to 2019. Melissa K. Aho, hooded by Dr. Joseph St. Marie. Dissertation title, When You Play the Game of Drones, You Win or You Die, examining the role of U.S. drone strikes in U.S. and English language allies newspapers from 2008 to 2019. Thomas Robert Schultz, hooded by Dr. Joseph St. Marie. Dissertation title, Improving the Measurement of Economic Freedom. Sarah Jean Bardwell, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley. Dissertation title, The Relationship Between Shared Decision-Making and School Climate. Billy S. Payette Fick, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley. Dissertation title, The Impact of Mississippi's K-3 Literacy Initiative Professional Development. Bo Hanna, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley. Dissertation title, The Relationship Between Principal Support and First-Year Teacher Job Satisfaction. Judah Tamachart, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley. Dissertation title, Empathy as a Moderator of Pre-Service Teachers' Culturally Responsive Teaching Self-Efficacy and Outcome Expectancy Beliefs. David Eugene Taylor, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley. Dissertation title, Honor and Duty The Collegiate Education of a Yeoman Farmer's Son in Antebellum, Mississippi. Joseph Levi White, hooded by Dr. Kenneth Shelley, dissertation title, The Understanding of Digital and Multimedia Evidence, DME, by Attorneys and Digital Forensic Examiners, DFE, within the United States Criminal Justice System. Anissa Davis, hooded by Dr. Heather Annulis, dissertation title, Barriers, Enablers, and Strategies Influencing Female Leaders' Career Advancement in the Nuclear Industry. Wendy Jones, hooded by Dr. Heather Annulis, dissertation title, The Influence of Emotional Intelligence Training on College Student Employee Workforce Readiness. Marcy Ray Overstreet, hooded by Dr. Heather Annulis, dissertation title, The Relationship Between the Protean Career Attitude and Feedback After the Employee Promotion Process. Donna L. Valestro, hooded by Dr. Heather Annulis, dissertation title, Employee Engagement and the Role of Time Perspective. Mark P. Ferguson, hooded by Dr. Quincy Brown, dissertation title, The Application of Motivational Design to Office Hours Conducted Within Fully Online Courses. Candace Green Johnson, hooded by Dr. Quincy Brown, dissertation title, Employees' Expectations of Leadership Development Programs and Their Effects on Anticipated Voluntary Employee Turnover and Organizational Commitment. Hannah C. Harrison, hooded by Dr. Dale Lunsford, dissertation title, Boosting Degree Attainment, a Mixed Methods Examination of an Adult Degree Completion Initiative. Tahisha Quarles, hooded by Dr. Dale Lunsford, dissertation title, An Exploration of Black Church Leaders' Intentions to Develop Critical Consciousness Among African American Students. Congratulations. Christian Todd Hayes, hooded by Dr. Kelly Darnell, dissertation title, Patterns of Habitat Use and Trophic Structure in Turtle Grass, Thalassia testinidum, Dominated Systems Across the Northern Gulf of Mexico. Christian Naomi Morgan, hooded by Dr. Melissa Thompson, dissertation title, Physical Education Teachers' Instructional Adaptations to Teach Motor Skills to Children with Language Disorders. Charles Joseph Yao, hooded by Dr. Jamila Layers, dissertation title, I Can't Be Two Me's, You Know, The Impossibility of Mothering in Victorian Children's Literature. Rachel Martin Bosca, hooded by Dr. Daniel Capron, dissertation title, Exploring the Maladaptive Cognitions of Moral Injury. Sarah Elizabeth Butterworth, hooded by Dr. Daniel Capron, dissertation title, The Effects of Culturally Competent Messaging on Willingness to Engage in Firearm Means Safety. Taylor Rose Nocera, hooded by Dr. Eric Dolan, dissertation title, Assessing the Effects of Psychopathy, Sadism, Aggression, and Boredom Proneness on Cyber Aggression Perpetration in Emerging Adults, is moral disengagement to blame? James R. Dario, hooded by Dr. Brad Dufresne. Dissertation title, The Compliance Training for Children Model on Child Compliance, a meta-analysis. Jennifer Cooley Tannehill, hooded by Dr. Brad Dufresne. Dissertation title, Predicting Parent Attendance for Group-Delivered PCIT Workshops in Head Start Centers. Taylor A. Serbel, hooded by Dr. Alan Heinel. Dissertation title, How Well Do You Know Your Reach? Kendall Ann Smith, hooded by Dr. Mark Huff. Dissertation title, Evaluating the Contributions of Recollection and Familiarity on Testing and Guessing Benefits in Recognition Memory. Dylan R. Richard, hooded by Dr. Melanie Ludi. Dissertation title, Workplace Microaggressions Experienced by Sexual Minorities, Relationships to Workplace Attitudes, Mental Health, and the Role of Emotional Distress Tolerance. Hallie Ray Jordan, hooded by Dr. Michael Madsen. Dissertation title, Post-Traumatic Stress Syndrome and Alcohol Outcomes, the Mediating Role of Drinking Motives and Protective Behavioral Strategies. Robert Bearden Whitley, hooded by Dr. Michael Madsen. Dissertation title, Social and Individual Level Identities and College Male Alcohol Use Behaviors, Examining Utility of Protective Behavioral Strategies. Christian E. Ammons, hooded by Dr. Bonnie Nicholson. Dissertation title, Attachment Quality Across Context, the Mediating Role of Cognitive Affective Traits. Jackson McCall Howard, hooded by Dr. Bonnie Nicholson. Dissertation title, Student Athlete Success, an examination of parenting, grit, academic success, and mental health outcomes. Kimberly G. Barajas, hooded by Dr. Stephanie Smith. Dissertation title, Development and Initial Evaluation of the Assessment of Teacher Expectations and Practices, ATEP. Can Tong, hooded by Dr. Song Guo. Dissertation title, Doping of Conjugated Polymers, Preparation, Characterization, and Device Fabrication. Anukal Bopatkar, hooded by Dr. Vijay Rangachari. Dissertation title, Granulins in Norm and Neurodegenerative Pathologies. Rashid Mia, hooded by Dr. Carl Wallace. Dissertation title, Synthesis of Molecular Probes for the Detection of Toxic Analytes. Raul Shankar, hooded by Dr. Sarah Morgan. Dissertation title, Rheological Properties of Recyclable Polymer Matrices for Advanced Composite Applications. Eric R. King, hooded by Dr. Derek Patton. Dissertation title, Homogeneous Goal Catalysis, a versatile platform for the synthesis and modification of aromatic polymers. William Drew Walker, hooded by Dr. Derek Patton. Dissertation title, Photopolymer Networks with Tunable Command Destruct Properties. Brad J. Davis, hooded by Dr. Johan Simon, dissertation title, Controlling Degradation with Force and Light.
I will now ask the deans to present their candidates for the specialist and master's degrees. Dr. Trenton Gould, Dean of the College of Education and Human Sciences.
Will the candidate for the specialist degree in the College of Education and Human Sciences please rise and remain standing? Provost Mosier, this candidate has been approved for graduation by the faculty in the College of Education and Human Sciences. They are ready to have their degree conferred pending completion of all degree requirements. Candidate, you may be seated. Now, will the candidates for the master's degree in the College of Education and Human Sciences please rise and remain standing? Provost Mosier, these candidates have been approved for graduation by the faculty in the College of Education and Human Sciences. They are ready to have their degrees conferred pending completion of all degree requirements. Candidates, you may be seated.
Dr. Chris Winstead, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Will the candidates for the master's degree in the College of Arts and Sciences please rise and remain standing? Provost Mosier, these candidates have been approved for graduation by the faculty in the College of Arts and Sciences. They are ready to have their degrees conferred pending completion of all degree requirements. Candidates, you may be seated.
Dr. Brett Beckton, Dean of the College of Business and Economic Development.
Will the candidates for the master's degree in the College of Business and Economic Development please rise and remain standing? Provost Mosier, these candidates have been approved for graduation by the faculty in the College of Business and Economic Development. They are ready to have their degrees conferred pending completion of all degree requirements. Candidates, you may be seated.
Dr. Lachelle Story, Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Professions.
Will the candidates for the master's degree in the College of Nursing and Health Professions please rise and remain standing? Provost Mosier, these candidates have been approved for graduation by the faculty in the College of Nursing and Health Professions. They are ready to have their degrees conferred pending completion of all degree requirements. Candidates, you may be seated.
Will all the candidates for the specialist and master's degrees please stand? President Bennett, these candidates have been approved for graduation by their deans and faculty, and I recommend that you confer their degrees.
Provost Mosier, on your recommendation, with the approval of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as president of the University of Southern Mississippi, and pending completion of any remaining degree requirements, I confer upon these candidates their respective specialist and master's degrees with all of the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, graduates.
Will the candidates for the specialist and master's degrees please come forward and receive your diplomas?
The following student will receive the specialist degree from the College of Education and Human Sciences. Melissa Marie Knight. The following students will receive the master's degree from the College of Arts and Sciences. Daniel James Como. Shivam Patel. Bindushree Naman Chetty. Sai Shri Madhuvani Godala. Candace Smith. John Fitzgerald Lawson II. Cheyenne Autumn Galeska. Charlotte Kaur. Morgan Liana Fellows. Alexandra Renee Mitchell. Ginger Gray Stevens. Tate Williams. Timothy Michael DeFazio. Sarah Grace Zetterholm. Pamela S. Bergren. Lauren Chauvin DeLawn. Naomi I. Mays. Sarah Ann Hogue. Amanda Abulawi. Samantha Els. Chandler Leanne Shemp. Rachel Ann Prather. Taylor Gregory Hood. Christopher Drew Williams. Letitia Hamilton. Sarah Catherine Barr. Alexis Crystal Barberin Bradley. Brandon Chase Schmid. Ronald Stephen Lott. Evan Scott Grimes. The following students will receive the master's degree from the College of Business and Economic Development. Michael Eugene Finley. Colby Irene Bennett. Bailey Christopher Peoples. Melanie R. Bryan. Mary Claire Kelly. Cody Brown Goldman. Berkilia Alicia Hogan. Ferlandria Charnay Carter. Peyton Rajan Stubbs. Kylie Ray Tuttle. Nakia Travis. Tyler Preston Harris. Laura Elizabeth Owen. Mecca Robinson. James Gregory Popejoy. Matthew Mark Rhodes. Karen Teresa Sanford. Crystal Gary. Allison Kennedy Reed. Kelly Fernandez. Catherine Amanda Hill. John Weston Widener. Nishada Satasuk. Kenneth Trent Wilson. Carrie Taylor Hart. Kendall James McGee. Matthew Bradley Dennis. Grayson Dale Gunter. Woodrow Lowe III. Marie Elaine Hankins. Lauren Marie Schneider. Caitlin Smith. Dennis Allen Shadrick. Jeremy Lamar Burke. Edward Hargrove. Shelby Morgan York. Denisha Jones. Andrew Thomas Jacob. Georgia Blake Stovall. Jaden Ann Maxwell. Ronald Collins Jr. Nicholas N. Dykes. Brandon Earl Cade. Nicholas Brewer. Joseph Kambonga. Amber Nicole Holbrook. Rebecca Sue D'Amico. Jared D. Graves. Brittany Routson Morse. Garland Wilson. The following students will receive the master's degree from the College of Education and Human Sciences. Allison Hughes. Kaylee Phillips. Tyler Allen Abney. Jimmy Buchanan. David Baker. Bobby Wick. Katie Reinhardt Wolf. Elizabeth Curtis. Lauren McCann. Austin Helas. Benjamin J. Ficken. J.C. Gardner III. Cabrian Drew Bell. Vijayesha Mudvari. Charisma Renee Middleton. Taylor Dennison. Lenitra LaFaith Simpson. Courtney Marie Brewer. Samantha Rester. Sharice Brown. Sarah Frances Davis. Susan Lee Badon. Kinshelsha Taisha Kiara Irving. Zaria Jones. Clarence Grenwell Weatherspoon, Jr. Kianshe Bimshe Carroll. Jessica P. Haig. Jennifer A. DeVries. Angela Walters. Abhijit Tiwari. Gabrielle McLean Sparnecht. Anna Caitlin Slocum Johnson. Haley Lynn Morris. Kimberly Hope Hardy. Sarah Holder. Heather Marie Smith. Leah Shanae King. Kelly Joy Freed. Amber Lee Houston. Jacqueline Ruth Stroud. Rachel Lynn Lawrence. Amanda Danielle Dorch. Mary Elizabeth Hannock. Nicholas A. Militello. Joseph Alberto Gaviria Pujeski. Leslie Dean Sam Jr. Kaylin Murtis Hadley. Lindsay Beal Lucas. Jill Catherine Purser. Leodon Denise Williams. Virginia Caroline Iverson. Melissa Belcher. Chastity B. Underwood. Christy Bell Wade. Tony Ann Perina. Leah Grierson Stokes. Anna Christine Belk. Kayla Weathers. Carl Thomas Jr. Emily Michelle Gertner. Peter Ryan Morell. Allison Duffy. Stephen Thomas. Felicia Boykin. The following students will receive the master's degree from the College of Nursing and Health Professions. Jalen Key Alexander Husband. Tristan Simone Miller. Tanisha Kimball. Donna Dilworth. Ethan Garrett Zadazri. Jamal Cortez Luckett. Hermela Nigashe Ashete. Lauren Haley Rose. Lauren Brooke Hester. Emily Hardy Barber. Kelsey Lynn Pele. Nicholas Anderson. John Andrew Johnson. Thomas Allen Ortiz. Corey Lee Conolog. Amberly Nash. Shalita Charday Stidman. Sharon Bayman Allen. Roshana Brendan Stallings. Chidinma Assumpta Chikere. Kelsey Brianna Briel. Kelly Ashton Blackwell. Alexa Faulkner. Shakita McGee. Kitara Shantice Clayton. Alexia Ashana Washington. Shirley Turner Ginn. Dasmond McCullum. Anna Claire Rachel Brewer. Lauren Michelle Newell. David Wilson. Lucy Ann Morrison. Deborah Marie Thomas. Matthew Alexander Fillingame. Stephanie Leanne Griffin. Beth Annie Amanda Finger. Pradeep Munakuntla. Priyanka Vijay Nahete. Venkata Aishita Yadav. Kajal Garasa.
Always that awkwardness to wait for the last one. I'd like to ask each of you to please join me in congratulating all of our graduates tonight. Tonight's ceremony brings to conclusion for many of you years of coursework, research, dissertation writing, capstone projects, and other professional certification training. The process to get to this point has been rigorous. It has required a tremendous level of determination, a tremendous level of persistence and grit, and a sheer will to finish all of your degree requirements. And each of you have done just that. Like your families and your friends, the University of Southern Mississippi is proud of your accomplishments. And we know that as you depart from this institution, you will find your way all around the world and will carry with you more than 111 years of university history and tradition. As president of the University of Southern Mississippi, I could not be more honored to know that our institution's reputation is in excellent hands with each of you. I extend all of my very best as you embark on your next chapter of what is sure to be a great adventure. Congratulations to each of you, and we wish you all the best. Before I close tonight's ceremony, I'd like to take a point of presidential privilege, and I'd like to personally acknowledge two members of tonight's graduating class. First, I'd like to congratulate my oldest daughter, Colby Bennett, who completed her Master of Science in Economic Development this summer. I could not begin to communicate how special it is as president to have the privilege to award any member of your family a college degree, let alone the opportunity to confer your daughter's degree. To my daughter Colby, your mother, your sister, and I are very proud of you, and we are so excited about what your future holds. And I'm even more excited she has a job that pays. She's been on my payroll a long time. Second, I'd like to acknowledge and congratulate Jim Cole, who completed his PhD in communication this fall. Jim, or should I say Dr. Cole, I want to ask you to make your way back to the stage. Now come on, because we're ready to go to supper, so we got to get on with it. So come on. I know he doesn't want to, but he's got to. So come on. Chop, chop. If you'll just join me on my right side here, it'd be great. Thank you, sir. We're not going to take your degree back, but you'll just join me here. That'd be fantastic. Now, for those, just face your classmates. Thank you, sir. Now, for those of you who do not know Jim, he has served as the university's chief communication officer for the past 11 years, which means that he's had to put up with me for the majority of the time that he's been in that role. Jim is tasked with directing the university's marketing, communications, and public relations efforts, and he advises me and the university's senior leadership team on related matters. I am certainly very proud of all of our employees who completed their graduate degree this year. But Jim is one of the individuals that I have known the longest and worked with the closest during my tenure here. We first met before I officially began my service at USM just after the EF4 tornado that hit our area in February of 2013. I can only imagine how much anxiety Jim experienced when I showed up from Georgia, practically sight unseen, and started speaking to university stakeholders on a very public stage, barely 3 days after I had been named the new president of the university. Since that time, Jim has played an integral role in my service to the university, in my service to our students, in my service to our faculty and staff, to our alumni and friends, and the list goes on and on. I cannot imagine the university finding itself where it is today in terms of messaging, the use of markings, and a wide range of stakeholder communication without his influence. Like many of you who are here tonight, Jim started his degree several years ago. He took time off as the university experienced presidential changes. He took time off as his family grew. He took time off as life happened. And obviously, since that time, he's come back and completed his degree. Like all of you, regardless of your personal story, and there's so many students here tonight that I know that I could invite to the stage, in spite of your story and your journey that has resulted to this moment, like Jim, each of you finished what you started. And that's something no one could ever take from you. You finished what you started. Along the way, Jim has made our university better because he was here. And he has made our communities better because of his active engagement and his care and concern for Greater Hattiesburg and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I know that Jim's wife, Deetra, and their 2 sweet daughters, Anna Grace and Macy, are so very proud of him. And Jim, where are they sitting? So, Deetra, I want to speak to you and your daughters just briefly with this statement. I want to thank you all for sharing your husband, and girls, I want to thank you for sharing your father with the University of Southern Mississippi and with me, especially when I call your home all times of the night when there's an urgent matter that requires a public statement or a public response. And so, Jim, I'm going to ask our Mr. Lucas, Mr. Williams, if he would assist me. I want to present you with a small token of my personal appreciation for your service to the University of Southern Mississippi and for your sound counsel to me as president of this institution. I'm very proud of you and congratulations. I asked the communications guy if he wanted to say anything. He said, I'm going to go sit back down. So we're about to go eat. I'm hungry. I know y'all are too. So we're there. We're probably 20 seconds away from being able to go eat. So as we begin to close, I again want to thank members of our faculty and staff for their dedication and their excellent service to our university, our beloved, the University of Southern Mississippi. I also would like to extend a special thanks to each individual and volunteer who worked countless hours to make this a very special occasion for our graduates and their families. At this time, I'm going to ask you if you would stand, if you're able to do so, for the performance of our alma mater, again led by Ms. Anne-Marie McPhail. Following her performance, please remain standing for the Platform Party's recessional. Again, thank you for joining us for this important celebration, and I want to thank each of you for being a part of the University of Southern Mississippi.